What's up, everybody? Welcome to the channel. Before I say anything, please tell me in the comments section right away. Do you know what you are watching right now? Do you have any idea? Did you hear about this? Are you aware of what this is? Now, I will explain. UFL does a terrible job of including the player base and what's going on, right? Now, what you're watching here is a eFootball challenge. Now, it is Portugal, right? It is part of the Portugal national team. It says UFL challenge powered by Ronaldo, and the broadcast is not in English. I totally get it, but players like myself don't mind putting this on in the background while I play. Not to mention, even if I'm not going to play, it is a great thing to kind of promote the game and show the game played at a certain level, right? And that's exactly what I want to talk about in this video. But I wanted to start off by saying it is insane that I had to go into the CEO's personal account, not tied to UFL at all. It's literally his name, his account, and that's where you get the updates on everything, including the fact that long distance OP shots, is what he described them as, will be nerfed ASAP. That's the update we got. We did not get that on the main account. We didn't get it on any of the social media accounts. It's on Eugene's account, which is the same place I stumbled upon this. Why on earth would this stuff not be on the main account? I understand there's probably like a Portugal page, South American page, all the different areas, all the different regions across the world. I totally get that. But nonetheless, these types of things definitely generate interest in your game, and you do not broadcast them enough. Not only that, but for instance, the OP shots being nerfed, that is big news. That should not just be on the CEO's personal account. I've talked about that before, though, and I didn't want that to be the main point of this video. I just wanted to let you know how I came across what you are watching right now, this esports challenge. Now, what did I take from watching this? It is exactly what I said earlier, but this puts an exclamation point to what I was saying, which is the fact that Strikers and UFL does not want rats in their game. They do not want these players exposing all of these exploits that they did not or cannot remove. Because when you watch all of these games, now you can go to this UFL challenge on Twitch and watch for yourself too. You can obviously watch the playback of it. But even just this video here, as you watch the gameplay in the background, what you see and what you don't see is very clear. You don't see players stacking their whole team behind the ball, right? What you don't see is L1, R2 sprints up around the entire team to shoot a 30-yard finesse shot. What you don't see is L2 crosses. What you don't see is the same type of nonsense that is breaking the game for the wider player base, right? What you do see is a variety of different tactical setups, different formations, different play styles, and what you do see is a very fun game. Yes, there are still those certain imperfections that keep this from being at the level of, say, an FC, but as we've already established, this is not a game that can compete. Whether they say it or not, it cannot compete with FC overall, with content, with on the pitch, bells and whistles, let's just call it. So we're fine with that, but having an alternative fun game, that can draw a large player base. However, the game needs to be played like we are seeing in this video. This is awesome. I literally sat there and I'm going to go back and watch more of this gameplay because it actually generates desire for me to want to play the game. The only problem is, if I do want to then go turn on UFL and play right now, the only way I get this type of gameplay is versus the AI, because it is not at an official event where none of these rats would be invited to, where even if they tried to get in and play the way they do, they would be booted right away, without a doubt, because Strikers would not want them playing in this. They would not want to broadcast that type of nonsense. They would call them cheaters and get them booted, which is why I wish there was a way they would try to get rid of them in their game, because that would actually make the player base grow. Here's why. Any player that comes across the game and starts playing, there's a very large percentage chance that they will face one of these sit-back rats that does all these exploits I just talked about. And guess what? The player just playing the game, they're going to go to eFootball. They're going to go to FC, but even if they don't go to those two, they're definitely not going to sit there and play UFL, most likely, when the experience is facing these rats, right? So I wish there was a way that Strikers could deem these players, figure out who they are and get rid of them. It wouldn't be as hard as many of us think because it's very easy to tell, based on certain, data that they could get. However, will they put in all that effort? Highly doubtful, right? Not only that, but if they are getting a large amount of money from these players and they can kind of keep them hidden where no one else besides content creators like myself are talking about how bad they're ruining the game, I could see where, they are okay with them being in. However, on the bigger picture of it, they are taking away the potential for this game in the future to grow because many players like myself and many across all the social media platforms, you're seeing it, are quitting the game largely because they're coming across these types of players. If they could somehow get it to where the game is played like you were seeing on screen right now, open spacing, the ability to pass and move and have fun with any type of tactical setup you go with, that would be huge. That would grow the player base way more than whatever the rats are bringing to the table. Whether it's because they're buying skins so they have the Haaland or Mbappe as OP as they can have them so he can L1, R2 up the field and score. Or if it's just simply that they don't want to cut any players from their player base. They want the number as large as possible because of how small it is. Whatever the case may be, or maybe it's just, like I said earlier, a lot of work to try to identify these players and then get rid of them, because I could also see where that could be a huge headache. Everybody would then claim that they aren't being a rat. They would claim that they only played like that because they have to, the whole nine. So I do get that it's more of a in a perfect world scenario where you could get rid of these types of players. However, watching this gameplay where there are officials there where you can't get away with playing in that broken system, let's call it, that all of these rats are going to, it does show how awesome the game could be. So in a way, it's almost a tragedy seeing this because, like, I do think these players are genuinely having fun. I don't think it's just a show for the camera because I genuinely have fun playing UFL when it is closer to how it was at initial release, which is exactly how the game is being played on screen right now in this event. None of the exploits, none of the nonsense that we have to deal with. However, if I go turn on the game right now and play in the way that I have to, in whether it's divisions or in the weekend and showdown, anything but the playoffs versus AI, unfortunately, I'm going to have to experience the nightmare that is UFL PvP right now. So I just wanted to point that out, and with a little bit of a side note that UFL, you just got to do a better job of broadcasting all these things and letting the wider player base know, because not everyone has X and not everyone follows Eugene. Literally, you wouldn't know if you weren't more into the game that he's even tied to UFL. It's literally just his first and last name, right? He is verified on there. Maybe somewhere in there it says UFL. But again, for the broader player base, they do a terrible job of letting everybody know. Leave in the comments as well if you saw where they mentioned that they're going to nerf the long distance shots ASAP. Because the only place I saw that is on X under Eugene's personal account. So you guys who are watching this, let me know in the comments if you saw that, and let me know in the comments if you saw anything about this event right here. So with that being said, I just was, happy and excited to see the game being played how I am. And it just justified, as you see, an amazing free kick, which those are OP right now too, but that was awesome looking. There's no doubt about that. But either way, it made me happy to see the game being played like this, because it showed that, it backed up what I said earlier. Strikers and UFL, they don't want these rats ruining the game. However, there's nothing that they're doing about it, at least for now, and I don't know if there is anything they can do about it for the reasons we said earlier. So while I was happy to see this, it's also sort of a disappointment that for the larger player base, we aren't going to get to experience the game this way with the direction that the game's going right now. So let me know what you think about all this, and keep grinding, keep having fun. I'll see you on the next one. Peace.